The program just opened its door 2 months ago, and already it is nearing capacity. The New Beginnings program, run by the Hope Clinic, uses counseling, Suboxone, and a once-a-month injection called Vivitrol to help addicts get clean. It's changing opioid addiction treatment in Pamlico County and surrounding areas.
Everybody hits their rock bottom, and it's just how many times are you going to hit that rock bottom before you want it? You desperately want it.
And the demand for New Beginnings is pushing the current space in the health department past capacity. They're now actively seeking a new location for the Hope Clinic. In the meantime, the support group meetings, which are held every evening at 7, will now be at 116 Main Street in Bayboro.
Okay, Aduri, and again, that's a nonprofit, no public funding. The operators say they need to raise $75,000 just as soon as possible to keep things going. And you can contact Hope Clinic for more information on that program and how to donate.
Deputies tell me they're charging Jonquez Green and another student for possessing marijuana and a gun on school property. Now, the other student is unnamed because he is a juvenile. We were told this morning's K-9 sweep at West Craven High School was a routine non-emergency lockdown drill. But there was nothing routine about what officers from New Bern Police Department's K-9 unit found on school grounds. The sweep took place just before 8 a.m., sending the school into lockdown. I'm told only the principal and assistant principal knew about it. Officers and deputies from the Craven County Sheriff's Department, as well as New Bern Police, searched vehicles, classrooms, and the entire school grounds. They were looking for contrabands like weapons and drugs.
Try to keep the drugs out. I know we got a lot of issues with drugs in our community, people dying, so we're just trying to do our part in the school systems to, put a stop at the students at a young age, educate them. Unfortunately, we do have to charge them sometimes, but hopefully through that process, they'll learn the lesson.
Now, the parents were notified once the lockdown commenced. And again, the Craven County Sheriff's Department is confirming that star football player for West Craven High School, Jonquez Green, is one of the students arrested in today's lockdown drill. We'll stay on top of this and bring you any more details as they develop. Brian, back to you.
Okay, Aduri, I reached out to West Craven football coach Mike Twitchell. He says he is blindsided and devastated by Green's arrest, and he is going to withhold further comment at this time until he has more time to process.
And another woman I talked with tells me she was raped and is still too scared to share her story on camera. But she also tells me just posting with the hashtag #MeToo is giving her some sense of safety. And the Department of Defense has identified a 4th soldier killed in Niger. They say Sergeant LaDavid Johnson was one of 4 soldiers killed in Niger on Wednesday. Staff Sergeant Brian Black, Staff Sergeant Jeremiah Johnson, and Staff Sergeant Dustin Wright were also killed in the attack. All 4 were assigned to the 3rd Special Forces Airborne Group at Fort Bragg. 2 other soldiers were wounded in the attack near Niger's border with Mali. The Department of Defense says the incident is under investigation, and 5 Nigerian soldiers were also killed in the attack. And President Trump paid a visit to our state, headlining a fundraiser in Greensboro Saturday evening. The private dinner held at the home of businessman Louis DeJoy and his wife, former North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services Secretary Aldana Wills. Newly released police video shows officers shooting and killing a man with his hands in the air, possibly holding a gun. We want to warn you that some might find the following video graphic. Charlotte-Mecklenburg police officers can be heard on the video yelling at Ruben Galindo to drop his gun. They said he was holding it in his left hand before shots were fired last month. Days after the shooting, Attorney George Lafron told a Charlotte Observer that Galindo pointed the gun at Officer David Guerra before officers shot him outside his apartment building. Guerra and another officer are on administrative leave. It's day 3 and the final one of the Seafood Festival. News Channel 12's Nate Belt was there on day 2, and he spoke to some people enjoying the delights and tasty bites of the North Carolina Seafood Festival. If you would like to get out there and try some of the fresh local seafood, you still have time. Today is the last day of the Seafood Fest. It'll run until 5 p.m. and the whole News Channel 12 crew will also be out there. So come by, stop by our tent and say hi while you're out there. And 1 week after the deadly mass shooting in U.S. history, prayers for the victims continue to pour in. Why people are now calling for unity in Las Vegas. The city of Las Vegas is trying to take back its streets. People were marching, sending prayers to the victims, and calling for unity almost a week after the deadly mass shooting in U.S. history. ABC's Daria Albinger has more. Police in London now say they are not investigating a car collision Saturday as a terrorist incident. The car struck pedestrians outside the city's Natural History Museum, leaving 11 people injured. Police detained the driver on the spot. They later tweeted that the incident was a road traffic collision. The crash happened in an area that's usually packed with tourists. This comes on the heels of at least 3 other car terrorist attacks in London this year. And still to come this morning, ECU Pirates take on the Temple University Owls. Ariel Epstein will have the details and highlights of that game. And ECU Pirates played host to Temple University Owls in another thrilling weekend of college football matchups. News Channel 12's Ariel Epstein joins us now with your Sports Minute update. Good morning, Eastern North Carolina. It's Sunday, October 8th. Thanks for waking up with us. I'm Aduria Chumba. We're watching Tropical Storm Nate. Gusty winds and storm surge that have damaged homes, toppled trees, and left thousands of people without power in southern Mississippi. The Hurricane Nate has been downgraded to a tropical storm. It made landfall along the Gulf Coast near Louisiana and then a second in Biloxi, Mississippi as a Category 1 storm around 1 a.m. local time. Now, Hurricane Nate is the first hurricane to make landfall in either state since Hurricane Katrina in 2005. Now, Storm Track 12 meteorologist Ashley Pratt is following Nate's path now that it is a tropical storm. Traffic alert for drivers in Jacksonville. Allow yourself some extra time. Expect to see lane closures on Highway 17 starting on Monday. One lane will be open in each direction, however. If you're driving north or south on 17 at the intersection of Drummer Kellum Road and Wolf Swamp Road, you'll run into these closures. They're needed so crews can repave the highway and perform drainage improvement work. The closures start at 9 a.m. Monday and continue each day until 4 p.m. The work is expected to wrap up by mid-June next year. And we have much more for you still ahead this morning. With last Sunday's mass shooting in Las Vegas, it's never easy to explain violence to children. We have some tips that can help you ease that conversation. And fall is full of festivals, as you can see, pumpkin patches and trick-or-treating as well. We'll check in on some of those happenings around the country in today's Take a Look at This. That's coming up. You're watching News Channel 12 this morning. We'll be right back.
Morning Update.
Good morning, Eastern North Carolina. I'm Aduria Chumba with your morning news update. We have a traffic alert for you. If you risk attempting to beat yellow lights, you'll want to be more careful driving through Greenville. Beginning today, red light cameras in 5 intersections of the city are activated. From today until November 15th, police will issue warnings to help drivers adjust to the change. But starting November 15th, though, if cameras catch you running a red light, well, you're coughing up a $100 fine. Now, here are the 5 intersections with the red light cameras. Now, some business owners in Beaufort are not happy with the Department of Transportation. News Channel 12's Nate Belt talked to a few of them to find out why. Now, if the DOT denies their request, the Gallons Channel Bridge will have to open this year. However, only 2 lanes will open until it's fully operational next year. And Mumfest is in full swing, bringing large crowds to downtown New Bern, and today is the final day. There are lots of fun activities for the whole family to enjoy. Trucks from the New Bern Fire Department are on display, and of course there are beautiful mums in full bloom all around town. Now, the festival continues today with activities wrapping up around 6. And today, the Carolina East Medical Center is hosting the 3rd annual Community National Day of Remembrance. It's a day to remember infants lost. You're invited to help comfort and support grieving families and friends and light a candle in remembrance. The event begins at 5:30 p.m. today. October is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. And we have much more for you still ahead this morning. One local woman shares her story of conquering breast cancer while living in Jamaica.
it's looking very nice. It's going to look nice for the ECU game this Saturday as well, 76 degrees there.
Well, I see next week is sunshine.
Yeah,
a little blip on Monday, but lots of sunshine.
Yeah, we're seeing rain tomorrow, but some areas still are lacking that rain that they're needing, especially in parts of California.
All right, well, I look forward to the sunshine. Now, grim stories continue emerging of desperate attempts to save people in one of California's deadliest wildfires. A Raleigh woman is sharing results of her mastectomy in Oprah's O magazine this month. Christina Sanchez-Root is celebrating surviving triple-negative breast cancer. Her photo is part of a spread on women who've undergone various breast cancer surgeries. Sanchez-Root's surgery took an unexpected turn. During her mastectomy, doctors decided not to perform reconstruction so as to avoid the chance of infection and to get her into chemotherapy much quickly. A restaurant owner who beat breast cancer has a message for women everywhere. News Channel 12 Stephanie Brown was in Snow Hill and heard her encouraging story. Now, doctors say self-exams are crucial to detecting breast cancer. According to Johns Hopkins Medical Center, 40% of breast cancer diagnoses come from women who feel a lump while doing self-exams. The owners of the house made famous by Breaking Bad are putting up a fence, and one of the reasons, flying pizzas. Jeremy Roth explains in today's Take a Look at This. And News Channel 12's Ariel Epstein joins us now with more on the ECU and Central Florida game in another round of your Sports Minute Update.
Temperatures continue to decrease as we go throughout the day, but looks like fall's here to stay, Dory.
And I don't feel bad about Monday because the rest of the week is sunny and bright. And that's all the time we have with you this morning. Thanks for joining us. Good Morning America is next.
Channel 12's Adoria Chumba is live on campus with details. Adoria, what are you hearing out there?
Lauren, right now the lockdown has been lifted here at the Craven County Community College around 10:45 this morning. There was information that went out on the system, and text messages were sent that there was an intruder on campus, an armed intruder, and they had to lock down the entire complex. Some students who were trying to get into the building had to be corralled into Lot 8 over there, where they hunkered down while authorities went into the building to find out exactly what was going on. Now, this is still a very fluid situation. It was a fluid situation by the time we got here, and what we are able to piece back as to what happened is that a person came onto the campus with a weapon, and somebody called authorities to let them know that somebody had a weapon on campus. Now, that was when the authorities went into action and quickly locked down the school, but the lockdown was quickly lifted around 11:30 after that person was taken into custody. Now, there was information that there was more than one intruder, but authorities tell me that that was not the case. There was just one person, and that person was quickly taken into custody once they were able to get a hold of that person. At no point were shots fired, and that's something that Craven County sheriffs are trying to emphasize, that no shots were fired, no student or staff was in danger, and that the person was taken into custody quickly once they were able to get a hold of the person. Again, there are many people who are trying to come to the campus now. Just to remind you, the lockdown has been lifted. Everything is back to normal. Nobody was threatened here. This is a very fluid situation, trying to piece the information together and find out exactly what transpired and why that person brought that weapon onto campus. Reporting live in New Bern at the Craven County Community College, Adoria Chumba for News Channel 12.